we've been told, you better create the architecture because we got to work with the architecture. So what do? We create the architecture when we really have the least clue about what we are actually building. And this is a very high risk. Now, we all know that upfront design or a big upfront design is a bad idea. Why is a big upfront design a bad idea? Because we are trying to create something when we really don't know a lot about what we are creating. So all the decision we make in the beginning really become obsolete, but there is something worse than that. If I'm an architect and I got hired to build an architecture, and if I build it when I have the least clue about what I'm building, what am I going to do? I'm going to hold my fort and say, this is the architecture, we better build it, because I don't want to get fired. And so we're going to hold this architecture, and very quickly, what we are building doesn't quite fit into the architecture, and there's a tension between what we want to build and what should we be really building. And so there is a very big risk of creating the architecture in the beginning. But there is also a big risk of creating the architecture later on. What's going to happen if we evolve the architecture? Let's say we decide to evolve the architecture, and we are nicely marching along in time, and then we come over here, and suddenly there's a feature that doesn't fit into the architecture. And we're sitting there scratching our head, what do we do now? Oh, we got to make all these changes to fit these bunch of features, which means a significant part of the architecture is broken, and we have to deal with that mess. And that is a big concern we have. Most of the time, why do we want